Hi guys, it is Megan. Welcome to my February wrap-up video. This month I read 11 books and yes, a lot of them were rough. I was crying most of this month about these books, but they were absolutely beautiful, and all these books I rated like 4.5 or 5 stars. So this was a really great reading month for me. So let's get started. Okay, so half of them have my physical TBR, and then the other half, like through half this month, I got a Kindle. It's not the Kindle Paperwhite, but it's like the one before that one. At Target, they only had these ones, and then as soon as like I got this one, they restocked the other ones, and so I'm really disappointed in myself, but it is what it is. This Kindle works just fine and I absolutely love it. And this was like during half the month, so like half the month I was working through my physical TBR, and then I got a Kindle and I was like, oh, this is a Kindle, I love it, absolutely amazing. So the first book that I read this month, and this is my book journal, so I have to flip through it real quick. Was the first book that I read this month was Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. This is the fourth book in the Devil's Night series. This one follows Will Grayson and Emery Scott. I really can't tell you much about the plot in this specific book, but I can tell you the plot that's basically in all, like, the whole series, which is like right up here. The whole series basically takes place in, basically, there's four horsemen, and basically they all come from rich families, and each one of the boys have a book. Michael, Kaya, Damon, and Will. And basically they all come from rich families, like I said, and they like to cause mischief in the town, especially on Devil's Night. And it just goes from there. It's super like suspense, super dark romance, like even in like the first one, like they go as far as taking all the money in this girl's bank account, I think even burning down their house. Like, it's intense. So if you're not up for that, don't read these, but I'm telling you, you will regret it if you do not read these, because honestly, these are my favorite like books of like all time. Like, I think I even saw Penelope Douglas. She had like number 3 on all of Unkindle Unlimited, which was like The Corrupt, and let me see here. Corrupt was like number 3 in all of Kindle Unlimited. So honestly, I commented on her post and I was like, honestly, you deserve it, because honestly, this series is like a godsend. Like, it's amazing. So definitely do yourself a favor and read that. And then the second book I read, and I rated that 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know if that was obvious or not, but yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. And then the next one, I just read the Novelia. It isn't necessary for you guys to read it, but because I loved the series so much, and I just felt like I needed more time with each of the characters, and I wanted to like see Michael and Rika again, and all of them. Like, I just wanted to read this book. It's only like 100 pages, I think, but I just love to read it. You don't have to, but I did. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars, of course. And then the next book I read was Neon Gods by Kate Robert. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling. Basically, it is steamy. It is everything that I've ever wanted. The banter, like everything. It's great. There's not really much to say other than it was steamy and I loved it. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Basically, in this retelling, Zeus wants to marry Persephone, and basically Persephone is not having it. And basically Persephone, in this retelling, she goes as far as running across one of Hades' bridges and runs into Hades' arms and was like, I'm not going back, like, no. And so Hades and Persephone, they strike up an agreement and is like, let's like fake date or whatever. And it ends up, whatchamacallit, becoming real, obviously. and it's just so amazing. I love it. I love it. I like read through this in like a day and a half. It was so good. Okay, next one, The Song of Achilles. Oh, also that was obviously Greek mythology. Persephone and Hades. Persephone and Hades. If you did not know, Greek mythology. And then I guess I was on a Greek mythology kick because I finally read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now, I can't really say the same for this book. I rated this 2.5 stars. So the only thing I can really give is it was written very poetic and really beautiful, but it just did not click for me. It did not. Like, it did not. I just didn't like it. And I know a lot of people's, I know a lot of people love this book and it's like one of their favorites and everything, but it just didn't hit. It didn't hit. This one is Achilles and Patroclus story. Yeah. I don't really got much to say about it. I didn't like it. Okay. And then the next one that I read that was my physical copy, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Basically, I love this book so much. I put it off for so long because of the title. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so depressing. I cannot do this. But it wasn't at all. Like, it was beautiful. So basically, They Both Die at the End is basically about, first of all, I love the concept of this book. So basically, Deathcast calls whoever gets drawn, I guess, and is like, today's your last day. Use it wisely, do what you want for your last day. And basically, there is like this friend app where you can find a friend for your last day. And basically, what's their names? Mojito? Let's see. Rufus? Oh, yes. Rufus and Mojito. Mojito? I don't know. Rufus and Mojito. Mojito? I don't know how to pronounce the names. But they end up finding each other, and honestly, it's so amazing. They help each other through, like, their life, and they get to know each other really well. And in the end, they wish that they had more time to get to know one another because they could have striked a relationship that way. But basically, they find each other, and it's just absolutely amazing. And it shows that a lot of people take it for granted, and it makes you think, like, what would you do on your last day? And one of the main characters, I forget which one said it, but is like, dude, I've wasted all like my tomorrows, all I have is today. And it just struck me so much, and it's like, that's so true. And just like, it just hit me really hard, and so I absolutely love this book. Yeah, it wasn't depressing at all though. It was really great. So the next book, I think this book came out on like January 28th. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be definitely wrong. But this is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This one was like one of my anticipated releases. But this one follows Kenna and Ledger. Kenna just got out of prison. She's been in prison for 5 years now. And her only mission as soon as she gets out is to find her daughter. And basically, you find out, like, so Kenna, she goes to this bar thinking that's a bookstore, but it's like not, it's a bar. And they like redid it or whatever, and she finds out that her ex-boyfriend's best friend works there, and she's never actually met her ex-boyfriend Scotty's best friend and Ledger. And basically they, like, Ledger is like, he only sees her, like, he's like, who is this, like, I'm so intrigued. And basically something in the back of his mind is telling him not to like strike conversation with her, but obviously he does. And yeah, everyone hates her in this town because of the incident. And basically her only mission obviously is to find her daughter. But as more as she gets to know Ledger and stuff, she finds out that Ledger is a part of her daughter's life, and basically is like her daughter's t-ball coach and all this stuff. And it's not only a romance, but it's also like so much more than that. And I think that's why I love this book so much. It's about a mother and, trying to find her daughter, and to also just like one mistake could change everything, and just seeing how people judge you for that, and even not even knowing your side of the story. And it's just it was just so so beautiful. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And these I read on my Kindle, by the way. Reminders of him, and like throughout the rest of the wrap up, I read on my Kindle. Underneath the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. So this one has been compared to A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I have not read A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, but I have read Underneath the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. And so basically, this girl, Emery, she had a twin sister named Lo, and basically her twin sister passed away. They have the same disease, illness, whatever you want to call it, lupus. And basically, her mom is not grieving with it well. And because they're twins, obviously, Emery looks exactly like Logan. And so that's, part of the reason why her mom is not grieving with it well. And so Emery decides to go and live with her father for a little bit. And with that being a new wife and a new stepson or stepbrother, and his name is Caden. And basically, Caden is just the typical bad boy. He has walls up for sure. And they just start to form a bond, Emery and Caden, and they turn into best friends. Obviously, more than that, B. Celeste is known for writing taboo and forbidden romances, but this one just worked so well, and I love all her other ones. They're right here too, like The Truth About Tomorrow, The Truth About Heartbreak, The Truth About Us. I absolutely love those books, even though they were really taboo. It's not going to be for everyone, but it was for me. It was great. I actually commented on one of her posts as well, B. Celeste, and I was like, every single book that I've read by you has been a 5 out of 5 stars. And I told her about Underneath the Sycamore Tree, how I literally bawled my eyes out at the end. It is such a beautiful story, yet so heartbreaking at the same time, especially if you guys have read this part, when her mom starts singing their song at the very end. I literally couldn't get to the epilogue before I started bawling my eyes out. My boyfriend had to come and cuddle me for a little bit because I was bawling, no joke. So if you want a tearjerker, Underneath the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. Okay, and then next I read a trilogy, Stay With Me. It's called Stay With Me, and then the next book is called Even When I'm Gone, and then the next one is Now Open Your Eyes. Stay With Me by Nicole Ferrano. Basically, this girl, Mia, she's a troublemaker. And basically, her last straw is basically to go to this university, Delore University, for troubled kids, or troubled, teenagers. And I think the age group is 16 to 21, 22. And basically, she turned off emotions 10 years ago. And so she thinks she has no emotions. She doesn't remember the last time she cried or anything. And so when she gets into Delore, she literally only has one mission: keep her head down for 2 years and literally just do what she has to do to not go to prison. And so, yeah, that's how she thinks it's gonna go. But then she runs into Ollie Masters, my boy. And while she has no emotions, or so she thinks, Ollie wears all of his emotions on his sleeve. And it is absolutely beautiful. He teaches her how to save herself and teaches her how to remember what happened 10 years ago and all this stuff. And there's just so much character development, so much great, I don't know, like mental health representation. Like it was just so great, and it is really deep as well. So definitely try trigger warnings, because is it is rough, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I gave all those like 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, literally this one I read like yesterday, and I got done with it at 11:32 p.m. So it was just enough in time to make it to this February wrap up. So after all those hard books, I just needed something, I guess dark romance, I guess still, but a little bit more like, nice. This was the first book in the Maid series by Danielle Laurie, The Sweetest Oblivion. So this one follows Elena and Nico. This is a mafia romance. They both come from mafia families, and basically Nico is wanting, like, they want a arranged marriage, and he wants Elena, and the dad is like, no, Elena is not fit for marriage. So he takes the weird sister, and I don't mean to be rude, but she is weird. Okay, she is weird. And the weird sister is named Adriana, and a week before they like are supposed to get married, she finds out that she's pregnant by the gardener. And so obviously in Nico's and her dad's eyes, she ruined the contract. And so Nico's like, I want Elena. And so obviously, like, his dad, like their dad's hands are tied. So obviously he hands over Elena, and Nico and Elena start, forming a bond, having a relationship. And from the start, when they first ever met, they just had chemistry. I felt it. Like, I felt like the banter, I felt the tension, the possessiveness, like it all just worked. The only thing I wish was that I just had more time with them, honestly. Like, it was just so amazing. I do believe that I'm gonna be finishing the rest of the series here in March, but it was just absolutely, it was so good. It was so good. Like, let me just read you one of like these quotes. It was just so funny. Like, and I loved it. Like, usually mafia books are like really serious, and dark and stuff, but like this one just made me laugh. Like, this is supposed to be serious, but he just, like, Nico just made me laugh all the time. He's like, I swear to God, Elena, if I find out you've left some man if you let some man touch you, I'll deliver his hands to you in a box. And he's like, I do not effing bluff. I'm like, okay. But it was just absolutely amazing. I loved all the books that I read this month. It was just such a great reading month. And yeah, it was just great. I plan on reading, as soon as I edit this video, I'm going to read the second book of the Maid series. I think that one's called The Maddest Obsession. I'm so excited. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next month with my new March